Hi guys. So today we are going to move on to our last step of tracing an argument. So we started at first with those like two-sided arguments where you had like two people that were arguing against each other. Then we spent last week kind of going back over counterclaim, claim, rebuttal, because that was what a bunch of you were having trouble with. I feel like everyone did a really good job on that. So it's time to move on to like the last stage of the standard. Um, and so, what we're going to focus on this week is looking at one article that has both arguments in it. So, this particular one here that we're looking at, notice we've got one author, and this one author is going to present to us both sides of the argument. So this is different than what we looked at before, where we had like two people that were writing against each other, sort of. We had like, the one person that was writing for using TikTok in school, and then the one person that was writing against using TikTok in school. These articles that we're going to look at now are going to have one author who is presenting both those sides to you. Okay. So the way that we're going to do this is I'm going to kind of break it up into 2 days because I've noticed that when the recorded lessons get too long, some of you will just not do them. So we're going to kind of keep it short today. And then we'll go back and kind of finish it up and get a little more in depth with it tomorrow. So our topic here is, do you need recess? It says in busy school schedules, recess takes a back seat. Should this be changed? So we know right off the bat, just by looking at the title and the subtitle here, that we're going to have two arguments. One is going to be, yes, you do need recess. And one's going to be, no, you do not need recess. So the directions say, as you read the article, highlight the following. Yellow is going to be for recess and the reasons that the author gives why you should have recess. And then the blue is going to be against recess and the reasons that the author gives that that people are against recess. And then it says green for evidence. We're not going to worry about evidence right now. We are just going to look for the ones that are the part of the article that is for recess and the part of the article that is against recess. That's all we're going to focus on for today. So it says Madeline Hamilton couldn't contain her excitement. The principal of her school in Franklin, Tennessee had just made an announcement, and it was big. Recess was coming back. Madeline and her sixth grade classmates would get 20 minutes every day to go outside and have fun. They could perfect new jump rope tricks, catch up with friends, kick around a soccer ball. The possibilities were endless. In most middle schools, though, recess isn't part of the school day. According to the American Association for the Child's Right to Play, as many as 40% of school districts have reduced recess time or cut it entirely. But now a growing number of experts are saying that schools should put recess back in the schedule. I'm going to stop there because I see here that we've got a subtitle. So I'm going to stop there and just kind of go back and look over this. It starts off with an example of this girl, Madeline Hamilton. Then it goes on to say that like a lot of middle schools have gotten rid of it. And now it's saying a growing number of experts are saying that schools should put recess back in the schedule. So we know that it's going to be one side for and one side against. So I'm going to go down here to where it says brain breaks. Recess, scheduled free time during the school day, dates back to the early 1800s. But in the 1980s, when American students began falling behind other countries in reading and math, recess began to disappear. Some schools made time for extra instruction in these subjects by cutting recess. That's all example. We're going to go back and highlight that later. Yet research shows that breaks can actually facilitate learning. This is my first, I already have it highlighted. This is my first side that yes, you should have recess because it helps you learn better. How can 20 minutes playing kickball or chatting about last night's episode of The 100 help you with algebra? According to Dr. Robert Murray, pediatrician and co-author of The Crucial Role of Recess in School, giving your brain rest helps it work better. That's a reason. I'm going to highlight it yellow. Moving from subject to subject without taking a break can overwhelm your brain and make it more difficult to retain new information. That's explanation. We're going to deal with that tomorrow. For this reason, some of the countries that outshine the United States in test scores, including Finland and Japan, have multiple recesses a day. Another example, we'll deal with it tomorrow. The learning benefits of recess apply to everyone, not just little kids, says Dr. Murray. In fact, recess or some form of it can help adults too. Here's another reason. So I'm going to highlight that yellow. That's another reason why we should have recess. Not only is it good for kids and students, but it's also good for adults. At Google, for example, employees take breaks and play in the office's Lego station. Employees at Yelp unwind by rocking out on a karaoke machine. At Facebook's headquarters, there is an arcade. So those are all examples. Moving on, it says get moving. In addition to helping kids learn, recess can also help kids be healthy. Here's another reason why we should have recess. So I'm going to highlight it yellow. Daily physical activity is associated with lower rates of depression and obesity. The American Association of Pediatrics recommends that kids spend at least 60 minutes per day being physically active. For middle schoolers who juggle extracurriculars, homework, and family obligations, it can be tough to carve out that much time for exercise. Recess can help. Running around, shooting hoops, or simply walking are all good for your health. I'm going to highlight that here. This is another reason. If you are involved in a lot of things after school, homework, family things, extracurriculars, it could be hard to find the time for that. So that's another reason why it should be included in your school day. Of course, physical activity can lead to injury. So here is our first reason against. A few schools have eliminated recess to avoid sprained ankles and broken wrists that come with intense schoolyard sports such as dodgeball. That's an example. Recess also requires an adult to monitor students and make sure everyone stays safe. So here's a second reason why some schools might not want to do it. You need an adult to monitor it, and someone needs to be making sure that everybody's safe. Some schools can't afford to pay someone to do this job. Plus, 73% of school-age kids in America participate in sports or other athletic activities after school. If most kids are getting exercise already, is it really necessary to take time out of the jam-packed school day for recess? So here is another reason against. Basically saying that, we don't need to include recess because most kids are getting some kind of exercise outside of school. Madeline thinks so. Recess is the one break in the day to relax and have fun, she says. What do you think? Does recess belong on the schedule? I'm going to highlight this last part here. Even though it is a quote and we could be using it as evidence, it's also a reason, I think, because it's a valid reason. It's a break in the day where you get to relax and you get to have fun. So that is another reason that supports, yes, you should have recess. So if we scroll back up through, I'm going to come up here to the very beginning. We've got, but now a growing number of experts are saying that schools should put recess back in the schedule. So that's the claim for. Got a lot of people who think it's good and it should go back on the schedule. And do we don't have the blue, the other side in this beginning part here. We just have the yellow presented in the very beginning. So notice the way that this author has structured this. They start off with an example. They give you the yellow, the for recess right off the bat. And then they break it up into reasons. So they give you brain breaks, and then they give you some examples and some things that support it. Then you have get moving, and they give you some reasons to support it. And then they go into the blue side, the opposite side of a few reasons why the schools should not put recess back in. Okay. So at the bottom here, and I'm going to add this to yours. What I would like to see you do, let going to set it up like this. So claim number 1, and then we're going to do claim number 2. So claim number 1 is recess should be put back on the schedule. And then claim number 2 is recess should not be put back on the schedule. So we've got our 2 claims. Oops. Period. Just very similar. Sorry, I cannot type and talk at the same time. Okay. Oh my gosh. Reason 1 here. Reason 1 here. Okay. So I'm going to go back to my highlighting and see, I'm looking for, so recess should be put back on the schedule. We know that that's one side. And now I'm looking for a reason. What is one reason that they gave us? I think the very first one that they pointed out to us is that it can actually facilitate learning. So I'm going to copy that. And I'm going to bring it down here, and I'm going to paste it as reason number 1. Let me take that highlighting off. So you should have recess because it helps you to learn. Then I'm going to look for a reason against. Here's one here. Physical activity can lead to injury. So that was one reason against it. Schools don't want to deal with, kids constantly getting hurt. So that would be one reason why they don't want you to have recess. Kind of a dumb one, but that's what the author's giving us. Okay, so reason 1, we said it helps to facilitate learning. Giving your brain rest helps it work better. That kind of goes along with our first reason. We have this one here. Recess can help adults too. That would be our second reason. So it's not just that it's good for kids and students. It would also be good for adults. Reason 2 against recess requires an adult to monitor. And keep everyone safe. And then reason 3, our third reason up here, recess can help kids be healthy. So our reason 3 for recess was it can help kids to be healthy. So this kind of goes along with this right here where it was about for middle schoolers who juggle extracurriculars, blah, blah, blah. That kind of goes along with the healthy part. So I'm not going to put that one down as a reason. And our final reason against here is that most kids are already getting exercise. So why take it out of the school day? So most kids are already getting exercise outside of school. Okay, it's kind of driving me nuts that this is a different font. Change it. Okay. So we've got our one side here, recess should be put back on the schedule, and then recess should not. And then we've got 3 reasons for each side. What we are going to do tomorrow is we're going to go back and do this green part where we're looking for evidence, explanation, examples to back up our sides before we can decide which side of the argument is stronger. Okay, so on your article that you have assigned to you, you are going to do exactly what I did today. In this lesson, you're going to highlight all of this. You're going to fill out your little chart at the bottom, and then you will be ready to go for our lesson tomorrow. If you have any questions, make sure that you email me or you send me a message in Remind. Thanks, guys.